Welcome back. Good to have you here. Of course, you got to subscribe to the podcast. If you haven't done that yet, why? Why? Did you know of anybody who listens, Bo, to podcasts that you don't subscribe to? Yeah. So
I don't. You know what's funny? It seems like everyone that I know that's like a podcast person is like a hardcore podcast
yeah,
person.
I'm in
You know,
that category.
no, really, it's
Yeah.
one of those things. No one's like, yeah, I kind of listen. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you like listen like religiously. Like that's your thing.
Yeah.
you
So
know?
all that to say, subscribe. Of course, nowadays, I don't know if you've noticed this, but Apple has made it on their app to where they changed it where like it's follow. I don't know if you noticed that. It's follow now. You follow a
I
podcast,
don't
and
know
if
if
you
I knew
subscribe,
that.
they've got like some paid version. Like you,
Oh,
so
know if I knew
follow, subscribe, whatever it is. Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube, and do all that, and then because we put our episodes out there too. But yeah, Bo. Good to have you back. Bo,
Yeah, man,
the
good to be here.
Producer, co-host, guest, friend. Yeah, I left that one out last time, so I included,
it's
I
all
included it
good.
this time. But yeah, good. So we have been reviewing movies, and now we're going to preview some.
Yep.
Now, by the time that this episode's released, some of these will probably, I know for sure, the first one we'll discuss, I'm pretty sure will already be out. But nonetheless, we are going to share what we think, what we can expect. So let's start with Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Jurassic World releases on June 10th.
Okay.
And so that's pretty soon in
Yeah,
terms of times of
sure,
recording. And
sure.
so, yeah, I would think by the time this drops, it'll actually be out. So,
And this is number 3 of the new
yeah, number 3
because
over.
it's been a little bit since the last one, right? I mean, like
yeah, 2 or 3 years.
19
I think
or
it's one of those
20.
classic, was going to come out earlier.
I think
COVID
so, too.
delayed it.
Okay.
So this is number 3 of the world.
Yes.
And then I think it's number 6 overall because there were 3 parks and this will be the third
that's.
world.
I think.
Pretty
I
sure.
think you're right.
So
yes.
I've seen trailers. And let's talk a little bit about the trilogy leading up to this
Okay.
one.
Sure.
Of course, the original Jurassic World, and then what was the last one? Jurassic World. Oh man, I can't remember what it's called. The subtitle. The Jurassic World 2, basically.
That's gonna bug me.
Now, the first Jurassic World, like it broke all kinds of records.
Yeah, sure.
And it was good. It was a good callback to the originals, but also introducing new characters. I love Chris Pratt. Chris
Yeah.
Pratt is just a solid dude, good actor, good guy in real life too.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
that about him, and so it was good. And then kind of reintroduces the world of Jurassic Park. Kind of the same thing happens though. Dinosaurs get out,
Yep,
stuff like that.
classic.
Now here, if you have not seen the second one, I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay.
A lot about the second one doesn't stick with me. Like I can't remember a ton about it, but the ending, the way it ends and sets up the third one, is very compelling.
It is. I remember watching it and the last. I always forget the guy's name, but kind of the narration at the end where he's
Yeah.
like, "We've unleashed."
Yes.
You know, it's just kind of in the very last shots. It's like, oh, like now they're running free.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
oh, this is great.
That is something. Obviously, you've had plenty of time to see it, so no even need for a spoiler alert.
Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom.
That's the second was Fallen Kingdom.
So they've got these dinosaurs now on the mainland, if you will, back in the U.S. And they've got them all in some sanctuary thing, and basically something happens to where they release all of the dinosaurs they have captive literally into the wild. They open the gates, all the dinosaurs, meat eaters, plant eaters, all the different ones, T-Rex, they're all in the wild. Raptors, they're in the wild now.
Right.
And so, now I'm not going to lie, the reason it happened was pretty super dumb. Something to do with this girl. They let this girl do it. I'm like, why'd you let her do that? But anyways, but the fact that it happened is, like I said, very compelling.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, now the whole Jurassic World title makes sense.
It does.
Like, oh, the world now is Jurassic. I mean, like I said, you've got pterodactyls. You've got all these different dinosaurs out there.
Yep.
And so, and then the way it ends is kind of like starting to show scenes of these animals roaming free.
They're in everyday life.
Yeah,
It's just
and
kinda like,
so
oh,
this
wow.
this is like, oh wow, if this were to happen, which obviously is not going to happen, but if this were to happen, this is very interesting, a very interesting premise for the third one. So this is where we pick it up,
Yep.
is trying to solve this issue, and the trailers have made it very clear they are bringing back all three of the main characters from
Yep.
the original park.
Good old Chris is coming back,
yeah,
and then
and,
oh, you mean
go-
like the original?
Oh no, like the
Okay, yeah,
from the
that's- yeah,
'90s,
okay,
like
yes.
from which, by the way, man, I think I told you this back during COVID when there were no new movies coming out.
Yeah.
They started to release some of the classics in theater. So I went to see Jurassic Park, the original.
Did you
in
really?
theater? Which that came out when I was 2.
Yeah.
That was awesome
Okay.
because again, we were talking in the top
Yeah.
minutes about
Okay.
the sound.
Good soundtrack.
And then just
the-
the John Williams,
Yes.
the main theme when they first see the dinosaurs. I mean that moves you, man.
yeah, that's a big scene.
And then the T-Rex just like the roars. Oh
I
man,
kind
it
of
was
the sound of it's kind of like a, you want to say like a screeching, like I don't even know what the.
and, we
it's good,
talked
though.
about how the '80s, early '90s movies were saying they don't age well.
Yeah.
Park has aged very well.
That is one of them. And once again, we were barely even around when that first one came
Yeah,
out. But
yeah.
even to this day, and I've never seen it in the theater, but that very first time they see them,
And you got
they pull up in the
John
Jeep.
Williams. It swells
and
there.
it's just like-
oh yeah.
That's an incredible scene.
And just
It
to
really
consider
is.
that this was 1993, and
Yeah.
to make these dinosaurs look that realistic, that's pretty incredible.
I don't mean to go into this too deep because
No,
we got
that's
a few
right.
things, but like I've never watched a lot of behind the scenes on those first original Jurassic Parks. I mean, because some of that, it's obviously CG, but I think like some of them are physically.
A lot of them are actual like robots.
They physically built a
Like,
lot of
they
things,
built-
which is kind of
yeah,
wild.
Which
I mean,
I
that's-
heard that because when you get to like Jurassic Park 3, that's like late 90s, early 2000s. So CG is getting a little bit more advanced. So they try to
Yep.
lean into that, and it looks fake.
Yeah.
So that is something I do like about World. Obviously, they've got plenty of CG, but they did bring back some of the robotics.
Okay.
For it. So, anyways, this is the setup. Getting back to Fallen Kingdom sets it up for. Okay, now these dinosaurs are roaming free, and so we're bringing back the original characters, Jeff Goldblum, and why am I forgetting all their names now? But you know who they are.
I know.
Dude with the hat and
Yeah.
the chick, but you're bringing them back, and they are they're joining up with kind of the new cast with Chris Pratt and Ron Howard's daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard, and I don't know. There's
I always
a couple
forget
more.
that's Ron Howard's.
Yeah,
I always forget that. Claire.
Yeah, Claire. So, I've got high hopes just because it's like, okay, again, cool premise.
Yep.
I don't know if who knows. I mean, for me, it's never been one of those things where, like, it's one of those things like if it doesn't blow my mind, I won't be surprised. But I
Yeah.
also am interested to see how they round out the story.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see it. I mean, of course, anything with Chris Pratt, dude. We talked
Yep.
about this before. Anything that what Chris Pratt was, 10 years ago, and now he's just this completely, hardcore.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
I mean,
I love him as a person, number one.
Yeah.
But then as an actor, he's phenomenal. He's
This dude was Andy on Parks and Rec. I
Right.
mean, and now he is like, and he was chubby Andy,
Right.
and now he's like fit, ripped action star, but he's still hilarious. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's funny,
Right.
and I love Chris Pratt. So yeah, looking forward to Jurassic World, seeing how all that turns out. Now, when we move into the next June 17th, the next weekend, well, this is the release of Pixar's next one, Lightyear. Now,
Yeah,
I was looking forward to this one.
Okay.
Because
I
this
get
is
it.
one of those things from the moment it was announced, it's gotten a little bit of mixed reviews or previews or whatever.
Okay.
Because some people are like, okay, come on, you're not coming up with anything original. This is the backstory of a toy. I mean, that's what this is.
Yeah.
So, but I've still thought, no, I like it. Chris Evans is coming in to do Lightyear, which I mean, I always, and that's hard. That's hard to give up on Tim Allen because I like Tim Allen.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But he's coming in to do the voice and whatever. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'm looking forward to seeing this, taking my daughter. Well, back when all the stuff for this whole "Don't Say Gay" bill in Florida and Disney took a stand and all this stuff,
Yeah.
they kind of kowtowed to their crowd, their LGBTQRS ampersand, all the different
Yep,
things,
right.
and they decided apparently to allow a same-sex kiss amongst characters in this movie. Now, look. I am not. I'm not trying to be a bigot. because I'm not.
Sure.
I don't hate anyone. But here's my thing. I don't care if it's a same-sex kiss or a heterosexual kiss.
Yeah.
There is no place for any sexuality in a kid's movie.
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I'm sure it's happened, but I am trying to think of the last time that I saw a kid's movie portraying any type of romantic interaction between characters. And specifically an animated movie. Of course, you've got The Incredibles. You've got, the Mr. and Mrs. Incredible. But I'm talking about like something here that this is something that it's like you're putting it in there to distinctly emphasize an element of sex and romance. Why does that need to be in a kid's movie at all? And here's my other thing. Agendas aside, whether you've got a left-leaning agenda or a right-leaning agenda, tell a dang story. Just tell. This is why Top Gun's so great.
Oh, sure.
And why, going back to Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yep.
This is why these movies are great. It's kind of refreshing because you're like, oh, you're just giving us a really good movie here. You're telling us an awesome story.
Yeah.
You've got all the things that make a story great, and you've got no agenda. You're not trying to tell me in one way or another how I should think, the ideology I should have, how I should vote, all this trash. You are just telling a good story. And so that's my thing.
Sure.
Honestly, like I said, this has no place in a kid's movie. This romantic interaction has no place in a kid's movie.
It doesn't. It's kind of like, I mean, you wonder and you maybe kind of hope it tanks.
Yeah, and I don't think it will. I really don't.
I don't think it will either, but just some of that, it's just kind of like you hope people like, that was unnecessary.
And
like, why'd you throw that in there? Come on.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm going to watch it at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to, I've already determined I'm not taking my daughter to see it in the theater.
Okay.
Now, when it hits streaming, I may, because that way I can preview it and I can whatever and I can skip through things.
Right.
But so I've yet to see. I'm just like, well, I could go see this by myself. That's kind of weird for a dude to go see an animated movie by himself. I don't know. I go to the movie theater by myself all the time.
Yeah.
But when it goes to like, oh, I'm gonna go in and watch an animated movie with a bunch of kids, I kind of draw the line there. So I'm probably not gonna go by myself, but. But anyways, so that's my soapbox for that. Again, it's not about an agenda. It's about, well, you sure it isn't about an agenda. It's the agenda of just make movies and tell good stories and be done with it, and keep it appropriate for kids. In that kids just want to see stuff cool on the screen. They want to get giggles. They want to laugh. They want to have adorable little characters that they fall in love with. They don't want romance, and it doesn't matter.
And here's the thing, man. I mean, obviously it's not out yet, and it may have a super cool, story to it, good, track, like, but it's like, if it has all of that, but then it has that one moment where it's like, okay, now that's going to ruin it for me and ruin it for a lot of kids, ruin it for a lot of parents because it was 99% awesome. And then all of a sudden it's like, why? Why did you put that in there?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm not, like I said, I was looking forward to it, and now I'm like, I don't know about that.
What else you got?
Well, let's move on. The following weekend, there's a biopic about Elvis coming out. Have you seen any trailers for that?
Oh, Tom Hanks in it? Yeah.
Tom Hanks kind of getting this transformation thing going on.
Yeah, I have seen the trailers, and I'm a big Elvis fan, and I'm a big Tom Hanks fan as far as on screen. And I think that'll be good.
This is one of those, it's like, again, I've yet to decide if I'm going to see it in the actual theater or not. It'll be one of those things, it'll just depend on my schedule. Like, oh, hey, if I got a free afternoon.
And it's
I
$6, maybe
yeah,
I'll go.
Okay. So, but it does look intriguing. The life of Elvis is a very interesting one. A man who got so much fame and then couldn't handle it, basically.
Here's something that, there's not been a lot of movies on Elvis, but there's a few out there that, because Elvis's life is... You could spend, let's just say a movie is 2 hours long. You could spend an hour and 30 minutes of it on kind of like him up and coming, or you could spend the majority on it on kind of like his decline.
Yeah.
So I wonder where they're going to go. From the trailer, it looks kind of like, hey, I'm going to make this kid the greatest.
Yeah.
So I think that's the point they're coming from. Like, this guy sees, I'm going to make this, So I don't think they're going to concentrate on the kind of the later part, but... I'm kind of interested to see where they go with it. I guess, maybe.
So this I want to say, if I remember right, I heard this is based on a book about Elvis, a biography. that discusses the rise of
that's what I
Elvis,
thought.
and doesn't really focus on the fall. In fact, I heard the book's kind of a letdown because it's so good, and you feel like the story is not done, and then like the last chapter's like, oh yeah, and then you know what happens. That's like, well, no, tell us. So I've heard that it's more about the rise, but it looks, because it's a young Elvis. The guy's
I was
very
just
young.
gonna say he looks very young, and
so
dude, this is what's crazy. Sidebar. I mean, like Elvis's actual career, I'm like, he was like number one for like 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, how could you possibly get all, but that's,
so
I am looking forward to that. Tom Hanks, he never disappoints as far as that goes. I don't know if he's a producer on that.
I didn't look at any of that.
But I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm looking
forgot about that one coming out.
So, and then the next weekend, won't take a lot of time on this one, but there is another Minions movie coming out, which, hey man, Despicable Me, the Minions, it's just good, clean kids fun right there. So that'll be cool. I think it's got like Kid Gru in it, and I'm pretty sure it's Steve Carell still doing his voice. He just kind of this high pitched version of it. So that looks interesting. July 8th, the final installment of Chris Hemsworth Thor. Thor: Love and Thunder comes out July. Now this again trailer looks interesting. Here's the thing about Thor. Thor isn't there. There's these different pieces of Marvel. Okay.
Sure.
Or not pieces, I guess, almost, well, we talk about multiverse, but almost like sections of the galaxy, if you will. There's Iron Man, Captain America, they exist in a reality that we know.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Thor, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes. They exist in like the cosmos and like this really sci-fi-ish world. So from Thor, my opinion about Thor in general has always been, I love Thor as an Avenger. Yeah. Like Thor's I think one of the best moments in all of Marvel history is when in Infinity War, when Thor gets that new hatchet thing, and he transports in and just starts kicking butt. Yeah, that is like one of the coolest superhero moments. Yep. So I've always loved Thor as an Avenger. I haven't been crazy about his standalone movies. The first one, didn't love. The second one, Dark World, was probably one of Marvel's worst.
Yeah, that wasn't very good.
It was one of their worst. And then
Ragnarok
was a little better.
It was okay. But a friend from work.
Yeah.
What the greatest line of the whole movie.
Yeah, and probably the greatest line from the whole like Marvel universe. Like it's pretty great. And so, but they bring in Hulk and whatever.
Right now, this one coming up, that is. It's not jumping back. It is forward. It's like
forward.
It's time.
So this is after Endgame. Okay. If you remember the end of Endgame, Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy team up. They're going off, and so they're in it.
Okay. Gotcha.
And the biggest thing about this movie, is that Natalie Portman, his girlfriend from the first one, Jane was her character name.
Okay.
She returns as a female version of Thor. And and the rumor is that this is Hemsworth. He's kind of made it clear this is his last.
Okay.
So the rumor is this is like a passing of the baton type thing, because if you notice, that's what Marvel's doing.
Yeah,
they're taking their old characters and they're because this is what the comics do.
Yeah.
They got a new Captain America now, and so this would be a new Thor, and we'll probably get a new version of Iron Man at some point.
Yeah.
And so that's what supposedly this is all about.
Okay.
Christian Bale is the villain.
I didn't know this.
Which is I love Christian Bale.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys. He's so method. He always gets into what he does it so well. So, I'm going to see this one. I'm looking forward to seeing this in the.
And that's July
8th.
Okay, that'll be a good one.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that one. Looking ahead, that is the only other one worth noting in July. There is DC League of Super Pets. It's an animated film.
I did see
Brooklyn. Every time we've seen the trailer, Brooklyn laughs.
Okay.
It's Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart. They are a fantastic duo.
Oh, dude,
of course, it's animated.
But you put them together.
But I've seen the trailer and I was laughing at it. It looks funny. It looks fun. So she's looking forward to that one. I don't know. I'm trying to look. I'm kind of looking here. I got IMDb pulled up.
I'm trying to remember myself if there's anything that I saw.
I'm looking at the
trailer-wise
IMDb list.
That is.
Well, here let's fast forward way far ahead.
Oh wow. Okay.
Let's go to in October, Black Adam. This is The Rock playing a character from Shazam. Remember Shazam?
Oh,
I liked Shazam.
Never actually saw Shazam.
I thought Shazam was...
I probably need to see that.
There were Shazam had moments I wasn't crazy about. It took the some of the frightening factor a little too far, kind of like Doctor Strange.
Okay.
But overall, I liked it. So Black Adam apparently is the villain version of a Shazam, and Dwayne Johnson plays him. So that comes out in October.
Okay.
But yeah, November. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Black Panther. The sequel to Black Panther comes out in November.
Oh.
And there is no more Black Panther. Like he's literally dead. Like the guy who Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
He died.
Okay.
Very tragically. And so I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that because they've already said they won't recast him. They won't CGI. So I don't know what they're going to do there.
Okay.
So that's interesting. And let's talk about the movie that I wish I could make myself care more about, but I don't. And that is the sequel to Avatar. I don't know why, but I cannot bring myself to care about this.
I saw the poster for it, and I didn't see a teaser for it during the movie.
I saw a trailer.
But it's funny. I saw that. I was like, is that Avatar? When did the original come out?
2008 or 2009?
Okay,
I was in high school.
I was just going to say, I was in high school.
I mean, we can't dog on that too much because we just got done raving about in a few episodes ago about a 30-year-old sequel in Top Gun. So it's not that.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion, I didn't think the first Avatar was all that great.
Okay.
I just thought
the original was James Cameron.
And James Cameron's brilliant. I'll give him that.
James Cameron.
He's a brilliant filmmaker.
He is absolutely
Titanic,
brilliant.
You know,
my wife and I watched Titanic the other day. Dude, it's as good now as it was 20 years ago.
Again, ages well.
Ages well. Yes. But with the Avatar, it was one of those things that I remember seeing it at the time. Again, okay, it's kind of like this new universe, little bit of fantasy with real people, a little bit. I don't know. I don't really remember. It's been so long. I think I only watched it like literally one time. I don't really know what the main plot of the story was, but it's one of those things like I never remember like this is so good, I've got to have more. The only thing I remember, I think that was one of the very few movies that it'd been in production for like 10 years or something insane.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, okay, that's a cool factor, I guess, because it's kind of a new frontier pioneer for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a trailer for the new one.
So I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, the thing that made Avatar such a big deal was the fact that it was the first feature-length movie released in IMAX 3D. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, maybe that's
because I never saw it in a theater.
Okay.
And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they re-release it in the theater leading up to this
get
one.
Hyped up. Yeah.
I might go do that because I will say I saw it on again, this is like 2008, 2009 or 2010 when I finally saw it. I just watched it at home. I remember I was watching at a friend's house on one of those old school big screen TVs, you know?
Yeah.
But even then,
I think
visually it was spectacular.
Okay, I'm gonna say something that's gonna, I think when it was released, it came out on like Avatar on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of the time when it was like, okay, like it's visually awesome.
I think it blazed a trail visually.
It did. It really did. I remember watching it, and there was, a lot of, because I remember seeing it in the theater, and it was one of those like, okay, like a lot of cool, like, we're flying and, some kind of things like, okay, this is a cool experience, maybe. Yeah. But I think it was one of those stories that the experience drove it, not the plot and the people and the.
I remember it being one of those movies when I watched it, and again, I've only seen it one time.
Yeah.
I thought, oh wait, is this the end? Oh no, it's not. They were only halfway done.
Yeah. That's a long movie.
That's very long. Yeah. So I'm like I said, I wish I could care more about it because everybody's so psyched about it. Because that is one thing I do know. Is they have already shot this one and the next one and maybe even one after that. Like they have.
Have they really?
It's one of these things they're going to just release it back to back to back. Oh, and by the way, here's another tidbit. Guess what studio owns this movie?
What studio?
They own every other big movie.
Disney?
Disney.
Oh,
because it's a Fox. It would have been a 20th Century Fox production. They
own
them now.
Okay.
So more billions of dollars for Disney. But yeah, I wish I could care more. Like I said, maybe if I rewatch the main one in the theater, I'll appreciate it more.
Maybe.
I do remember it's very much like all about nature and stuff. And again, and you're into nature.
Well, I remember. As far as nature goes.
Nature. It's a joke.
Some of you will get that.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, and it's hilarious.
It is.
I remember there was a little bit of that weird, like, hey, become one with these animals or something.
Like tree hugger stuff for sure.
Yeah, so that was kind of odd. But I will not be lining up to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Again, I probably, if I see it in the theater, which I probably will because it's one of the only movies kind of coming around time, it will be strictly for the cinema and visual aspect of it.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that. So, yeah, Avatar. Oh, and then speaking of Shazam, I didn't realize this, but Shazam, the actual sequel to the actual Shazam, comes out December 21st. So,
okay.
That's cool. So, I think that's far enough ahead. We've pretty much taken it all the way to the end of the year.
We'll get into this later, but of course, Mission Impossibles are...
Next summer,
I guess there's going to back
releases
to back.
though.
So that'll
I've already filmed both of them. It's part 1.
That'll be down the road.
The trailer, we were talking about it in the last episode.
It's pretty great.
Yeah,
it's good.
So I am looking forward to that one. But yeah, that's what's coming up.
Yeah.
Like I said, at this point, Jurassic World and maybe a couple others are already out. So maybe we'll circle back here later and do a review. Well, Bo, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, man, it's good to be here.
It's always good. We love talking this stuff, man. We really nerd out on the film talk. So that was fun. And thank you for watching, for listening, for subscribing, all that good stuff. And we will see you next time.